we can advise that we've still got 75 fires burning across New South Wales. 37 of those are still not contained. We've got 11 fires burning at the moment at the emergency warning alert level, and we've got 9 burning at the watch and act alert level. As you've seen today, it's been a very dangerous and busy day, but the reality is it's far from over yet. As we speak, we've still got volatile fire conditions right from the Hawkesbury area right up to the north coast of New South Wales, with only a few moments ago additional emergency alerts going out to affected communities in the path of the spreading of some of these fires. We're expecting to see increased fire dangers stay around for a little while yet. As we speak, we've still got widespread severe and extreme fire danger ratings right throughout the Greater Hunter region, and we continue to have very high fire dangers up through northern tablelands, northeastern areas of New South Wales, particularly where the fires are continuing to burn. We can see the southerly change moving up through the coast, and there's certainly some welcome relief and a dramatic drop in temperatures behind the change, which is correlating with a significant reduction in the overall fire danger rating. Having said that, the winds are still strong and they're still gusty behind the change, and even through parts of the south coast and parts of Sydney, we're still seeing that southerly change 50 to 70 kilometres an hour, sustaining southerly winds. So it is still problematic, and as you might have heard just a little while ago, we've got a new fire identified in the Royal National Park just to the south of Sydney that firefighters are dealing with. We certainly have hit catastrophic fire dangers as forecast across today, and I commend the specialists in the Bureau of Meteorology for their precision with their forecast today. What they indicated to us would happen effectively happened. We saw catastrophic conditions realised in the Greater Sydney environment, the Greater Hunter environment and the Illawarra-Shoalhaven regions. We saw the peak winds up to and above 80 kilometres an hour. We saw the temperatures up into the high 30s, and we saw the humidities down as low as 5% across so much of the geographic area of New South Wales affected. The pleasing thing in the forecast, which was underestimated, was we were fortunate that the winds did not persist as long as they were forecast to do so. So there was a few hours lesser period of the high strong winds that came through, and particularly up in northeastern New South Wales, the extraordinary dense and widespread smoke layer that filled pretty much northeastern New South Wales for the first few hours this morning served as an insulation blanket, and it took quite a few hours for the winds to build and push all that smoke out of the way before it could mix down and start dramatically influencing fire behaviour. So whilst the prediction maps were accurate in terms of direction and how the fire would move, fortunately the fires in most cases didn't reach or achieve the sorts of kilometres or distances that would otherwise have been the case if we didn't see such a heavy inversion and that insulation of smoke protecting the fire grounds from the onset of the strong winds moving across the northern tablelands. As I indicated just a moment ago, we are still dealing with new fires, and in particular the report of this fire in the Royal National Park, which has been reported as a fire that has started as a result of multiple ignitions, numerous ignitions, and crews from Fire and Rescue, Rural Fire Service and National Parks continue to deal with that fire. Of course, with nightfall...
Right. We might just leave that there. I think we've got most of the information we need. Peter, the important thing about the wind is this, and the positive there was that the wind is not as high as it is. If you look at the fires which devastated northern New South Wales on Friday, one of the big problems was that the wind was carrying ash 15 kilometres. The forecast today was that the winds could be so volatile that they might carry ash 60 and 90 kilometres, so you weren't quarantined even though you felt you were 30, 40, 50 kilometres away from the source of the fire. The fire, as I understand it, in the Royal National Park is being contained. The fire that I spoke about before between Macquarie University in Sydney, not far from the CBD, and the Adventist Hospital was handled with a bomber, a water bomber which dropped fire retardant, and that solved that particular problem. Look, we just might go a couple of things which we might cover very quickly in that area to the north that we're talking about. The northeast is the problem area, given that Greater Sydney seems to be contained. And I've just got a couple of notes here, which I'll shove on the screen for you to see. And we take the first one, which is Reserves Road. This is this place called Mayor's Run. If you have a look at it, Nowendock is a little place with 146 people. It's about 360 kilometres from Sydney. The fire there, as I've said, is out of control. It is close to Thunderbolt's Way fire. There are firefighters there everywhere, and they're saying the fire is spreading quickly. So that is a real worry. The second one is Thunderbolt's Way, and note there the fire is covering 9,700 hectares. You saw that little place of Bretty right close to Port Macquarie, so that's where the problem is there. The third is at Hillsville. I mentioned that on the map that you saw. 3 properties have been damaged. The extent of it is unclear, but the fire is spreading quickly at Hillsville. That's on the we're talking about the mid-north coast. Now, the fourth fire that they're talking about, these are all at emergency level, which means you've got to get out because you are at risk. The fourth fire is at Wands Road, and that's at a place called Llangollen, which is in the Armidale area. And note the fire there, they're saying, is spreading quickly. There are properties under threat. It is too late to leave on Wands Road. Then you go to Carrai East. You saw Willy Willy on the map. That's near Kempsey. That's burning west of Kempsey. It has breached containment lines, spreading quickly, too late to leave. So these are the fires which are worrying fire authorities. Then there's another at Liberation Trail. That's in the Clarence Valley. Notice the geography of it. 150,000 hectares. The blaze is out of control. You saw Cootes Crossing on that map earlier. It's threatening Cootes Crossing and the surrounding areas around Karamba. Then you've got the Washpool State Forest, and that's also in the Clarence Valley. Look at the size of it, 37,800 hectares. That's over 100,000 acres. That blaze is out of control. It's breached containment lines, and tiny little villages like Ewangar are in trouble. So there are other areas there like Fine Flower and Carnham and so on. They're monitoring conditions, but tough stuff. That's at emergency level, I repeat. And when the Rural Fire Service says emergency level, it means you're in danger, get out. Then you've got this big fire here at Kean Road, and that's in Buckra-Bendini, and that's Nambucca. Now, it's moving towards Maxwell, which is a fairly big community area, and the wind is the worry there, and that's pushing the wind from the west to the coast. It's breached containment lines, and if you are in the areas of Talam or Maxwell or Algomera Creek, they're saying get out and get shelter. That's at Kean Road. Then there's one at Myall Creek Road. These are all at emergency level. That fire is out of control, spreading quickly. It'll have impact on little communities like Bungwalbin, New Italy and the Gap. So they say if you're in the path of the fire, you are at risk. That's Myall Creek. Then we go to Emerville. Now, this is a very pretty little place, and I should point out the fire there is spreading. Emerville got on the map in 1976, where the 14-year-old Debbie Wells from Emerville became the fastest female of her age in the world, represented Australia in track and field from Emerville. And I think we've got some other detail on Emerville there. Situation escalating, Emerville and Stanham residents. But if you're in Emerville or Stanham, you seek shelter. If you're in deep water, which is not far from Emerville, I know these areas well, you monitor the conditions. But things there, that's closer, further inland. Things there are worsening. And they're saying, Emerville, you'll evacuate to Emerville Hospital. The winds today have picked up dramatically, and it's ripe there for the fire to tear through. So they're warning people, don't stay and defend. Now, just if you've got relatives up there somewhere, I'll just shove up these evacuation centres. And there's a stack of them here, evacuation centres. I don't know where we got Penrith Pathway from. This is more northern New South Wales, but I had a long... these are here which don't necessarily relate as much to what I'm talking about. I had a list there, but something's gone wrong in the back rooms. Surprise, surprise. The Anglican Church at Bowraville, the Camden Bicentennial Equestrian Park, the Castle Hill Showground, the Central Coast Jumping, that's at Mangrove Mountain. Anyway, I won't go through all of these. There are significant evacuation centres Elizabeth Park at Picton, French's Forest Showground, the Glen Innes Showground, the Gosford Racecourse. These are all evacuation centres. The Grafton Community Centre, the Hawkesbury Showground, the Kempsey Showground, the Laurelton United Services Club, a Mullumbimby Ex-Services Club. So the Rural Fire Service have provided those opportunities, and it's important, I think, to do as the fireys tell you to do. That's the key.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course the number is 1800 679 737, or if you can read the digits on your phone with the numerals on them, so it's 1800 NSW RFS.
Yeah, and just one thing before we go to the break, Peter. There is an outstanding app called Fires Near Me. That is outstanding. It'll tell you exactly where you are and where any fire that's breaking out near you currently is. Fires Near Me. And if you're worried in an emergency about what numbers to ring, there's another app called Emergency Plus, and it has all the numbers, emergency numbers there.